Sorry. I'm the LPN Hospice Coordinator. Our hospice team welcomes you here and thanks you for being here. Today we are here to read the names of friends and family that are being honored by your donation. Most of these names are people who have passed away, some recently, some a long time ago, but always in our hearts. There are also some names of people who are still with us that have been sent in to honor these people with a donation. Your donation to hospice is so very appreciated by our team, our patients, and their families that these donations will help. This year, some of the ways that we use donations are: no patient is turned away from hospice for inability to pay. Donations can help us to cover medications, equipment, nursing care, social work, and supplies that are needed. We've been able to provide the families with hospital bed sheets and monitors to help them care for their loved ones. We have helped families that were unable to cover all of the expenses with cremation, and many, many more ways. Hospice is here to walk beside patients and their families, not just during the last few days or hours, but the last few months of their lives, to give them support, symptom control, and knowledge. We can't give extra time, but we can give the best quality of life possible for whatever time our patients have left. We also have a grief support that follows the family with phone calls, cards, and resources for a year after the patient leaves us. Thank you all again for your support of our mission.
We come together today to honor, to remember, and to call the names of those who have passed on and those who are still with us. They are not just some names, Lord, but these are individuals who have been a guiding light, a bright light in this world, in this community, and in the lives of many. And so, Holy God, we lift up those names to you and we ask for a special blessing upon those who are still with us and those who are no longer with us, but the families are still around. As we come together, Lord, we invite your presence to be here with us and to bless our time together, and that this time together will be meaningful, inspiring, and encouraging. This is my prayer. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Hello, my name is Elle Waters, and I am the grief care person for hospice. So I have the honor of journeying with the families for 13 months after the loved one passes on, and also support of our staff and for others from the community who might call in and also want some support from anything that's happening in life. So I just want to say that each life is precious, and sometimes we feel insufficient, that we can only do one thing, or we can only have one day, or we can only have that one life we did with someone who we love, or maybe a moment that you wanted to live again, whatever it might be. And I just want to read a poem for you today called One by Shawnee Kiley. And this is to remind us that any acts of kindness, anything we do, even one thing, makes a world of difference. One word can spark a moment. One flower can wake the dream. One tree can start a forest. One bird can herald spring. One smile can bring a friendship. One handclasp can lift a soul. One star can guide a ship at sea. One cheer can obtain a goal. One vote can change a nation. One sunbeam can lift a room. One candle wipes out darkness. One laugh will conquer gloom. One look can change two lives. One kiss can make love bloom. One step can start each journey. One word must start each prayer. One hope can raise our spirits. One touch can show you care. One voice can speak with wisdom. One heart can know what's true. One life can make a difference. And that life is me and you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fresca Nielsen. I am the RN case manager for hospice. Today, I would like to share with you a story. I would like to share with you all what being a hospice nurse means to me and how I became a hospice nurse. Everything that has happened in my life led me to hospice nursing. It wasn't something that I sought out. Growing up, I never thought to myself, I want to be a hospice nurse someday, but yet here I am. When I was 22 years old, my mother died of breast cancer. She was 54 years old. She wasn't on hospice, but I wish she was. I watched her take her last breath right before my eyes. At that time, I wasn't a nurse. I was just a family member, scared and unaware of the dying process. I didn't know that my mother would lose so much weight so fast in a matter of weeks. The cancer had spread to her liver, and I didn't know her skin would turn yellow. No one was there to prepare me and my family for the changes that were happening to her body. My best friend came to visit, and she didn't recognize my mother. My mother being 54 years old, my best friend told me she looked elderly due to the facial wasting and the wrinkles in her neck that occurred from not eating. I didn't expect the changes in her breathing when they became long and deep, and would pause, thinking she was gone, but then seconds later, watching her take another breath. Like I said, I never dreamed of becoming a hospice nurse, but somehow this job found me. And I think that's why everything that has happened in my life led me to where I am now, helping other family members, friends, caregivers of patients of hospice through this hard journey. It gives me great joy to be able to guide people in this very scary and uncertain time. In the moment and day-to-day activities and tasks, things happen slowly. The nights are long, stress and worry are continuous and never-ending. But once it's over and you look back, it's all a blur. You may not remember exactly how things occurred or even conversations you've had with people during your loved one's care. You will mostly remember how you felt during that time. I have grieved my mother for 10 years now, and I never found the closure I needed until I started this work. After my mother died, I went on and became a nurse and worked in the hospital. Life moved on. I got married, and my mother wasn't there to help me pick out my wedding dress. I had children, and my mother wasn't there to hold my hand while I was in labor. I was grieving, but didn't know how to process my feelings. I went to wonderful grief support groups and great counselors, but it wasn't until I started this work that I found peace within myself. So I am grateful for the opportunity to help others in a situation where I wish my family and I had the guidance, information, education, and preparation we needed for a smoother transition and journey for my mother's journey in leaving this world. So when I enter these homes, care for these patients, meet their families, my goal is to make this journey as smooth as possible. So that's what being a hospice nurse means to me, giving others the information and tools families need that I didn't have, which motivates me and inspires me to do what I do today. Thank you for listening to my story, and I'm so grateful to work with Dr. Douglas and this wonderful team who are also passionate about hospice. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Melody Ayers, and it's been my privilege to be the Philanthropy and Grants Director here for a number of years, and then step back into it, and to be able to help hospice raise the funds that are needed to make a difference in the lives the way that they do. Been doing this almost 23 years. Just as an aside, when someone first approached me about helping hospice, I said, I won't go to the homes. I don't do dying. And they said, we need other help. And I'm grateful that I've been given that opportunity to do the other help. Also present with us today is our Adventist Health Tillamook Hospital President, Eric Swanson, who's standing in the back there. He's a longtime member of our community, and his mother was also a longtime member of our community who was served by hospice. So you know that he knows how important hospice is to our community and what amazing good work our team does to help people on that last journey. When I talk to families who have received care from hospice, they refer to the team as angels. Frequently, the term angels on earth comes up, and I have to agree with them because of the work that you do. Coming alongside the families is so important, and I'm speaking to the team members here, you are the angels who touch directly, who care directly, and who make it possible for people to have that last days and hours as meaningful and dignified as possible. When I think about the funds that are donated each year to help support these compassionate angels, I think of an old hymn, especially with the weather we have going on right now. Showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. And you know, each donation, no matter what its size, is like a mercy drop, is it not? And when enough mercy drops start falling here in Tillamook County, as we know, pretty soon there's a cascade of water that comes together and floods our roads, floods our yards, floods everything. And with the ice that we've just had, I'm kind of thinking water all over is a blessing. So just kind of, come with me on this mind journey. But to think of all of the donations that have been made this season and throughout the year that are in tribute of folks who have passed, folks still with us, and those we most want to remember. In this Light Up a Life season, we have received just over $16,000 in donations. Can you imagine how many mercy drops that is? That's a lot of mercy. Here are some comments from families about what hospice care has meant to them, and many of these have told me we want to give back because it is important. Thank you for the wonderful, kind, thoughtful care you gave my father and all the support you gave to us, his family. Here it is. You are angels, everyone. From the Collecnon family, our family will be forever indebted to the wonderful hospice team who helped us care for our wife and mom at the end of her life. Each year at the annual Jan Collecnon Hospice Benefit Show, we dance for Jan, Adventist Health Hospice in Tillamook, and everyone else who has lost a loved one. More mercy drops. From the Handback family, our ongoing support for hospice is so others can benefit. So their journey home is as peaceful and meaningful to them as possible. My apologies if anyone is here or listening from the Dale Stockton family. I had some things come up. I was unable to connect fully with them. But they, in the initial, had shared with me how meaningful hospice was, the hospice care for their family member, Dale. And I'm going to go back to working on that in coming days. You'll see more on that coming. There are other showers of blessings I want to thank. Upstairs Bar and Grill in Neatarts does their annual chili cook-off. They have a lot of fun, but they do those drops, mercy drops. They did a recent holiday dinner as well. Tillamook School of Dance, which the Collecnon family is a part of, does an annual hospice benefit show the 1st of June. The Eugene Schmuck Foundation, based in North Tillamook County, is a longtime generous supporter. Hope Chest Thrift Shop volunteers give monthly gifts in support of hospice. And if you've ever been in those thrift shops, you know that that is a labor of love from those volunteers. More mercy drops coming together. This year, we also had an estate gift from the estate of Shirley Hellberg. And if you knew her, I would love to talk with you. It was the largest estate gift that our hospice program has received. And there are so many mercy drops that are going to be coming from that for years to come. So thank you to our families, to you, to everyone for being those mercy drops, for being those showers of blessings. I pray that each of you will experience that in some way in your life, whether giving or receiving, and that you will be blessed, and you will all know how much each one of you is loved and how much each one is appreciated. Thank you.
And now the reading of names. I wanted to introduce our hospice team to you, who will be reading the names. First of all, no, Dr. Douglas, you don't. You're doing the music. Is our doctor, Dr. Douglas. This amazing man is there for us 24/7, and he is so knowledgeable, and he's just our foundation, and we thank him very much. And then we have our registered nurses, Fresca and Holly. Our newest nurse, Maya, cannot be here. She is with a patient having an emergency, so we'll miss her today. And Janine was also unable to be here. Our social worker is Jamie. Our chaplain is Pam. Our grief support is Elle. And one of our volunteers, Marilyn, is here. And our volunteers give so much to our families in support. Thank you. It is our privilege to read these names, honoring those who live on in our hearts as well as those who are still in our lives. Thank you for forgiving us if we miss saying your loved one's name correctly. May you be blessed by the memories of these names represented. James Abbott, Gary Albright, Deborah Smith Alice, Alicia Andrews, Michael Atterbury, Barbara Oftemeyer, Ernie Oftemeyer, Louis Oftemeyer, Delisa Averill, Governor Baker, LaQuenta Baker, David Barajas, Ramon Barajas, Dennis Beeler, Irene Beeler, Joe Beeler, Bradley Bell, Jeremy Byer, Stephen Beveridge, James Birmingham, Wendell Bloom, Gary Bohms, Clarence Bub Boquist, Dolores Boquist, Stephen Blowquist, D.L. Brintle, Juanita Brintle, Brooks Bromley, Diana Brooks, Dorothy Brunis, Larry Brunis, Donna Bell Buckles, Nancy Buckles, John Michael Buckland, Dwayne Bundy, Ellis Burt, Shirley Burt, Peter Byrne, Kirk Collier, Donna Christensen, Dorothy Churchill, George Churchill, Carl Koger.
Jan Lohman Klecknon, Charles Collin, Carol Collin, Wayne Cook and Boys, Sandra Cornwell, Val Crispin, Harvey Cruikshank, Richard Cummins Jr., Maxine Davis, Mildred Davey, Robert D. Giovanni, Sheila D. Giovanni, Alan DeSchwentz, Ken Downey, Winnie Downey, Amelia Downing, Danny Edwards, Glenn Edwards, Lola Edwards, Rosalind Edwards, Gary Engel, Glennis Fair, Francis Frank Fouth, Gisela Fennerell, Lorraine Philby, Marilyn Fletcher, Diane Flournoy, Beverly Fowle, Dorothy Jane Fox, James R. Fox Sr., Daryl Fredericks, the Eugene Schmuck Foundation, Helga Garling, Harriet Gibson, Thomas Ganger, Judy Gold, Ruth Grasseth, Donna Greenlaw, Cynthia Gregory, Mary Grimes, Mary Ann Haas, and Patricia Halverson.
David J. Ham, Mary Hanback, Ada Doris Harris, Michael Harris, John Haskin, Lionel Hathaway, Shirley Helberg, Glenn Hoffman, Faith Holgate, Frances Hollett, Elaine Holman, Hope Chess Thrift Shop Volunteers, Karen Gale Vermelia Hopkins, Barbara Howard, Robert Howell, Mike Hubbard, William Hudgen, Virginia Ginger Huffman, James Holden, Corinne Hunstead, Jeannie Jackson, Barbara Jenkins, Carolyn Jenkins, Dennis Jepson. Mark Johnson, Edith Johnson, Dale Jolly, Judy Knight, Carol Combe, Carol Lackabane, John Lampkin, Daniel Landalt, Carol Ann Lane, Dale Lee, Mabel Lee, Patricia Lee, Robert Layton, Terry Lee Lewis, Andy Lasik, James Locker, Colby Lovett, Jill Lowe, Jeremy Magden.
Janet Mahoney, John Mahoney, Gerald Manderville, Catherine Marshall, Sheila Mayfield, Anna Martin McDonald, Mary McDonald, Michael McDonald, Stella McDonald, James McGill, Marie McNerney, Norman McIntosh, Madeline Swanson McHerger, Gwendolyn Medine, Jean McGruer, Margaret Meskill, Clifford Miller, Jan Miller, Norman Miller, Vicki Miller, Rhonda Moe, Moose Lodge number 1260, Elizabeth M. Morgan, Eugene Morrell, Betty Musgrove, Casper Nagelli, Dorothy Nagelli, Steve Nagelli, Donnie Newton, Lamar O'Leary, Bill Olson, Timothy Olson, Dennis Opplinger, Daniel Paris, Maria Minda Paul, Elna Persons, Robin Pierce, Melanie Piper, Helen Potrek, Virginia Prowl, Boo Pilliam, Gerald Ratz, Calvin W. Rainey, Florence Rainey, Alvin Reed, Dorothy Reed. Okay. Stephen Reeves, Dan Repass, Linda Reek, Mark Rigg-Turink, Walt Rigg-Turink, Kathleen Ripley, Martha Rook, Andrea Rosenberg, Kenneth Ryan, Daniel Sildate, Joan Sather, Arlene Schaefer, Renata Shee-Baton, Frederick Schell, Pam Schwone, Janet Scott, Jerry Shurin, Anita Schertz, Donna B. Simmons, Wesley Simmons, Eugenie Smith, Gary Smith, Virgil Sabin, Richard Stanfield, Susan Steele, Phyllis Stevens, Stephen Stroltz, Patricia Sump, Brooke Susie, Gerald Titchener, Joan Trusty, Elaine Turner, Kathleen Tyler, Preston Undabai, Upstairs Annual Chili Cook-Off, Kathy Jo Vermilia, Sam Vermilia, William Wagner, Evelyn Darlene Walker, Larry Warnock, Arlen Muddy Waters, Carol Waters, Kristen Waters.
Shelley Jean Wad, Tom Wad, Tina Weeks, Jim Horton, Nani Wharton, Stephen Wyrick, Gilbert Wright, Joanne Weiss, George Young, Don Youngen, Jeffrey Zybura. It is our privilege to read these names, honoring those who live in our hearts as well as those who are still in our lives. Thank you for forgiving us if we have not said your loved one's name correctly. May you be blessed by the memories these names represent.
Thank you all again for coming, and after the service is over, there's some beautiful refreshments at the back for you to partake of. And so I want to end with a blessing. It's called the priestly blessing. And it was the Lord who said to his servant Moses, he said these words in the book of Numbers. Tell Aaron and his sons, this is how we are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, and this is the blessing. And this blessing is for you and your families as you move through this time of loss where your loved ones are no longer with you. And the blessing is, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you